What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and resident superstar, Adrian Holmes.
Good evening, Garrett. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm just wondering who's this guy in our call.
Yeah, also joining us here tonight.
I feel like I've seen him before, but
yeah, there's a stranger down in the bottom quadrant here. If you're watching on YouTube, if you below us, there's this very strange dude. Never seen him before, but my notes here say to introduce him as the heavyweight. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to. Okay, you don't really have to go with the heavyweight. You can just be champion. You know what I mean? You don't. The weight aspect.
You have to
of it
have a class. Yeah. You have to have a class. What do you mean?
All right.
Well, I mean, I have class. I'm a classy guy. As far as like a weight division, I don't know if that's necessarily necessary. You know what I mean?
The heavyweight podcasting champion of the world, JJ Purdom.
Well, thank you. The stories of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. Shoot. I'm back, baby.
Oh no, we
That's
didn't.
Right.
The rumor wasn't that you died; it's that you've been cheating on us.
Well, that is completely
well, I did
true.
say you were dead to us one time.
Oh yeah,
so
you did. Yeah.
Okay, that hurts a little bit, but that's only because I've been so busy launching the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast, which you can find all over the place, brought to you by the Super Gamer Boys each and every Friday in podcast apps around the globe. We're talking pro wrestling each and every week, and it's just, it's just taking off like crazy. We're huge in Finland, by the way. Huge in Finland.
This guy gets a couple retweets. Next thing you know, it's the JJ Network.
Who knew? No, hey, sorry that I haven't been here, guys, but you guys have been killing it, holding the fort down, the two of you, doing the Super Gamer Boys, just a two-man thing. And I know Garrett's much more into the menage a trois stuff. So, and I'm glad to be back and be that three-way, that, scissoring with you boys, doing this, I don't know, what am I doing with my hands?
I don't
really know.
I don't think that's the dude thing. I don't think that's the...
I'm pretty sure.
That sounds like it would hurt.
Nope. So I have a story to tell. Some of you guys might have seen it.
Relax, Dad.
Scissoring dude.
It's just anatomy.
Some of you guys might have seen it on Twitter already. But what was that? Saturday, Sunday? Saturday. Something almost burned her house down to the ground.
You were talking about your charger.
Yeah, so I set up my son so he does like after lunch, he does not take naps. He's like, no, Dad, I'm done taking naps. So he does like a rest time where he sits and watches like an episode of a show or something. And I set him up in the living room with the iPad. He watches it. We don't have a TV in the main living room up here. So he's had the iPad. The battery was almost dead. I'm like, here, let me go get my battery pack, plug that bad boy in, and then you'll be good to go. Well, I have it's an Anchor portable battery pack. I've used it, I don't know, 10, 15 times, mostly on trips and stuff. I don't use it all the time, but never had an issue with it. Works great. Works on the Switch, works on my iPad Pro, works for all the big, powerful things. Mm-hmm. Well, this time I just set it and I left. My wife, she was down in our room napping. Griffin, he's a baby. He's napping in his crib. And I'm down here playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the boys. Anyways, I get a text from the wife that says, just want to let you know your charger's melting and it's outside. And I'm like, what? She's like, so I ran up there real quick.
That's why you left for a second.
Sure. So, I mean, this is about 30 minutes after I'd set him up. So who knows how long it had actually been going for, but basically my son started smelling something. He's like, it's stinky. Like, I don't like the smell. It stinks really bad. And he went and got Mom, and she came out, and when I went up there, it reeked so bad, like burning, melting plastic, like horrible, like electronics and plastic, really bad in the house. And yeah, I looked at that box, and the pictures are on Twitter. It melted a good like half-inch hole right through the side of the case. And I'm like, dude, like those batteries, when they go up, like they go up. Those lithium-ion batteries, like that could have been basically a bomb in the living room and like burn the whole house down. So the fact that all it did was just like melt, that's great. But holy cow, that was scary. That was absolutely terrifying. But yeah, glad everyone was safe and okay. But I ended up, I tweeted about it, and then I reached out to Anchor support as well to see, like, because a lot of these companies, you try to get a hold of them one way or the other, and sometimes they're just impossible. So I'm like, I'm going to try as many avenues as possible.
Squeeze?
I'm like going to do everything I can.
Get a free. Try to get that free stuff.
I reached out to him and I was like, hey, like, here's some pictures. Here's my proof of. They want a proof of purchase. Here's my proof of purchase. Here's pictures of the thing. Here's what happened. Like, what are you going to do with this? I've only had it for 6 months, so it's still within warranty. I was like, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to fix this? You know? And right away, they're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is horrible. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, they were shocked. They were really surprised that happened. And it's already been taken care of. They're like, yep, we're going to send you a new, apparently upgraded model, which if you look on the Amazon listing, it says it has a fireproof casing. So I'm like, I wonder why they decided to add a fireproof casing to the thing.
You don't say.
Interesting.
But yeah, I got that new one coming in the mail. They want me to ship this old one back so I can kind of investigate and see what in the world happened. But dude, that was scary though. Like, I'm glad nothing happened in the end. Is all good. But man, just the thought, like, oh man, I could have been down here playing turtles, and meanwhile the house is burning down up there. If my son didn't go say something to my wife, like, could have been bad. So kudos to Shep for actually, like, being proactive.
He saved you.
He saved himself in the house probably.
Yeah, and thanks. Anchor?
Yeah, thanks Anchor for I mean, no thanks for the exploding battery pack, but thank you for sending me a new one. I did say, because they said, would you like us to send you a new one? Here's a link to it so you can check it out, blah blah blah. And I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, that would be fantastic. I've always had great results with your products. I've been super happy. I'll be happy to take this one as long as it's not going to burn the house down. They didn't respond to that part. They just kind of like, okay, we'll send it in 3 to 5 days. Like, they just kind of glossed over it. But I was like, only if it's not going to burn my house down. That's preferable, you know. But man, absolutely crazy. I just had to share that. Be careful out there with those battery packs. You think they're fine, and one day they try to kill you. You know. Oh,
well, at least you made it out alive. You lived to tell the tale.
Made it out
You
alive.
get a new battery pack out of it. You just got to keep an eye on it going forward.
Yep.
Even though they say it's fireproof, you never know. You didn't think this one was going to go up. And sure enough.
We're having a hard time hearing you, Garrett.
Testing. 1, 2.
I'm back. I'm fine.
There we
I
go.
muted my mic.
All right.
Actually, I muted the mic. But all right. Before we actually get into that, I just wanted to say that this episode is brought to you.
Oh my God.
by.
Jeez.
Let me see.
Why are you still on mute? Why don't you just mute it?
All right. This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Cola. Again, I have the vanilla.
Folks,
draft Pepsi Cola, and look,
I'd like to say that I've
They sent
enjoyed.
me a Pepsi glass. They sent me a Pepsi hat. Look at
I've
this.
enjoyed my time with Super Gamer Boys. I have learned invaluable lessons. I've met a ton of different people over the years.
Cheers.
Over the year, and it's gonna be tough, you know, with this new transition to taking this new step. But I wish them well. I have no doubt that they're going to be doing fine going forward. And I just, you know, I'm glad everybody's here with me on my last show.
Oh, Adrian,
anything to do with it. Yeah.
Adrian, if you want some, I can ship to you. If that's the issue, I can ship some to you. I'm sure I can get on Amazon.
I am more than fine without that happening.
Well, if you say so. I don't know. I think I'm kind of sensing some jealousy, like you just wish you had some. But
Yeah, okay. The day I'm jealous about some Pepsi.
I'm not gonna lie, I made a huge mess all over my desk. Just
That's what you get. That's what you get.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you get. I love it when that happens.
All right. Yeah, so make sure you go out to your local convenience store, pick up a Pepsi Nitro. I can't remember the name of it. Pepsi Nitro today.
It also has another good use as an all-purpose cleaner, apparently.
Yeah.
Since you
And
can
it is
spill
a
it on
toilet
your
cleaner.
desk.
It is a toilet cleaner, by the way.
It might
too.
as well be.
Look at this
Oh
vintage
my God.
Pepsi Cola cup. Pepsi.
Where did you go
didn't
to? Did you go to like a Goodwill to try to find that or something?
Want to hear the funny story? Want to hear? Okay, story time with Garrett. You already heard one story.
Where'd you steal that from?
This is just from Amazon. I picked it up. Probably paid too much for it. This is a set of 2 off of eBay from someone in Minnesota. It's an antique. So
I can't believe you invested into this. Oh my god!
Oh, I've invested
for a 1 minute bit. For a 1 minute.
You know what? Worth it. It's been weeks leading up. You know,
you are paying to be on the wrong side of history. I cannot believe this.
Delicious. This new Pepsi Nitro, so smooth, so smooth.
He's doing a read. I love it.
Let's just can we go? Can we move forward?
All right. We can
start to have choice words that aren't so family friendly.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, this week, today, we're talking about a possible Skate 4 announcement, From Software's next game, and Mario's new voice. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Kajoma01, Bumple Smash, and Eddie Martin, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there starting at just $1 a month, where you can get episodes early and ad-free, like this show, or Super Gamer Book Club hosted by Adrian, sponsored by Pepsi Cola. That's just kidding.
No, absolutely. I was just getting ready to say, I knew you had something cooking in that noggin of yours.
I'm gonna change the album artwork so it just says,
"Oh my!"
in the corner.
You gotta do it in the style of the Pepsi logo so we can get sued. Yeah, okay, good. Go ahead. You do that and you watch what happens.
Adrian Holmes is the taste of a new generation, or something like that.
You can join the likes of what's it? Was it Kylie Jenner? Which one was it?
Oh yeah, how about that? Another brilliant ad from Pepsi. Hey, you want to stop all war on Earth? Just give both sides a Pepsi.
Yeah, there you go.
Good job.
Good job. I'm not gonna lie. That was a low moment for Pepsi. That was a real low moment for Pepsi.
Oh, that was a low moment. How about putting the first bottle out?
What about when Michael J. Fox burned off half of his hair from doing a Pepsi thing?
Michael Jackson.
Did I say Michael J. Fox?
Yeah.
Damn.
Same thing.
Also, there you go. Another strike.
I got COVID right now, okay? I am doing this podcast with COVID-19 right now, kids. Like, that's why the brain's not working so well. I got
it's
the
your
fuzzies.
Third go around. You're used to it by now. But yeah, there you go, Garrett. Okay. That's another strike against Pepsi. Mm-hmm.
You know. If you support us over at Patreon, you can get Super Gamer Book Club's episodes early, such as a Super Mario World with Patrick and Mark from Nintendo Cartridge Society, up right now. And the upcoming one coming out this week, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII for PSP. Go check that out. Who's the guest? I realize we haven't announced the guest, and I don't have it in my notes.
Have we really not?
No. I think you told me in a text a long time ago, and I forgot who it even was. So who's the guest?
It's Mr. Jeremy Schmidt. You can find him, at Ocarina of Crime. He is part of the Video Games A Comedy Show podcast.
Okay.
One funny feller, and he is into some Crisis Core, so I'm looking forward to it.
Jeremy's fantastic. Okay.
He was part of our crew.
Yeah, we were playing the Turtles the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Well, there you heard it here first. If you're still interested, or if you're not sure, if you're ready to, go to the green pastures of patreon.com/supergamerboys, you're still on the fence saying, hey, I don't know, is this really as good as it looks?
That sounded kind of morbid. If you're sure you're not ready to pass on to that next stage of life,
pass you're not on ready to the afterlife
of our Patreon, if you're sure not ready to die for us.
Oh man, you can check out our free feed for the Super Gamer Book Club. Go over there. You get episodes a couple months early. Right now, Streets of Rage 4 is up with Eddie Martin. Fantastic episode that you can get on podcast services and over on our youtube.com/supergamerboys. Also, quick shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. We appreciate it very much, and you should go listen to them as well over on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever else you can possibly find them. Find them everywhere and listen to them everywhere. That's what I want. But links to Spotify are down in the show description below. Now it's time to check the mail.
JJ, you're up. I've been putting this bit on my back for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, JJ, you told us you had a bit for tonight, right? Well, technically, you said you had a bit 2 weeks ago, and then you called in sick.
But I sent you that bit, Garrett. You don't have the bit?
Morlang? Sounds like the ball's in your court.
See, what had happened was I sent you the bit. It was actually the best bit of all time. It was super funny. It was well thought out. I thought it was kind of classic. So you do have the audio file from...
You know what? No. I know. You sent me that one bit, but
yeah.
You sent it to my laptop, and if you follow me on Twitter, you also saw not only did my house almost burn down, but my laptop died. So it's
what's going on with the electronics in your life? Why is everything's spontaneously combusting right now?
So
now, I told you when you said that
to eternity.
Oh, that's horrible. When you posted that, I did tell you, I try to warn you about going to a lot of those sites. Like I said, you're going to screw your stuff up if you go into that. But you don't want to listen to the old guy who has a lot of experience.
I have Norton's antivirus on there.
Okay.
I don't know, man. You know, Pepsi.com is very malicious. It's got a lot of bad stuff on there.
So. Always trying to get your cookies. Always trying to steal your cookies. All right. Well, I'm just gonna have to wing it because, like I said, that bit got deleted on the other computer. So we'll find it for next week. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Hey,
it was a great bit. Sorry, you guys won't be able to hear it.
Excellent bit. I'm sad, man. It is really good.
It's gone now. All right. This first question comes from CJM. They ask, I have seen recently that there is a new game guide that is being released for Elden Ring. I wanted to ask, what was the last game that you had used a game guide to complete, and which guide is your all-time favorite?
Really? I did not know that there was an Elden Ring player's guide.
So I didn't. So I didn't do much research on this. I thought there already has been one because the last one I used was actually for Elden Ring, but I used.
There's wikis and stuff.
I use the wiki. Isn't that the same thing though, or no? Is that different?
When you.
I feel like that's the modern day. I feel like that's the modern day game guide because they don't really make strategy guides anymore like they used to.
Right. That would be my thinking. It's like, when you get like Prima Games or something like that where you have to go and pick it up. That's what I'm thinking.
If they're making a Prima Games Elden Ring one, I need to get that because it's going to be like 500 pages long.
I was going to say, yeah.
See, and
that's what I was. Oh, go ahead, JJ.
I'm used to that. Like when you say a game guide, I'm thinking like a game magazine or a game guide, like an actual game guide.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about,
dude.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking immediately when you guys came up to that. The last time I got one to use a game was back in '95 for Resident Evil, the first Resident Evil game. And that's the only reason that we were able to figure out a lot of that stuff back then, because there was no way you were going to figure it out, way back when, unless you were smart, which we weren't. We were super stoned at the time. And probably the one that I used that I had the most fun with was the original Super Mario Brothers 3. I got to use, but I also was a big fan of like Game Genie. I don't know if you guys know what Game Genie is, but Game Genie was fantastic. And that's kind of like a guide, and it's something that gave you superpowers and gave you extra lives and stuff like that. The way that it used to be done back in the day was it'd be something that slipped over your cassette or your game cartridge that would then slide into your console.
Yeah, we had the one for Super Nintendo. It was pretty sweet. I just real quick, just heads up here. I had no idea this was a thing, but I just Googled it. The Elden Ring official strategy guide. It's 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. Volume 1 is 512 pages, and volume 2.
How much does that cost?
So apparently on Amazon right now, you can pre-order it because it comes out July 29th. It's $30 for each volume. So $60 total. That's not bad
terrible.
At all.
That's not terrible.
For 1,000
pages.
For 1,000 pages worth of content. Like that's not bad at all. I'm not gonna lie, it's very tempting because I don't know what's in it. I want to see more like what's actually in it. But that
you
would be
could do that, or you can
cool.
you can wait a week and somebody's gonna put the scans up for you to download. So,
but that's illegal. Would you steal a car, Adrian?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, man. That's awesome. For me, I mean, again, like modern day game guides, like again, using like walkthroughs and stuff on IGN or wherever. I think Elden Ring. Oh, I guess for Crisis Core I'm playing right now, I'm using one. I'm using old, kind of walkthroughs and game guides. But like an actual physical book that I used, probably my favorite one was The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
That was a good one.
My uncle had the N64 version. I just gotten a GameCube for Christmas. It was a special edition one that came with like the disc that had like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask.
Tell me you still have that. Do you know how much that is worth these days?
I know. I've seen it. I do not have it. It's long gone, and I'm very sad because it's worth a lot of money now.
It's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah.
Adrian almost guaranteed that if Garrett still had it, all the pages would be stuck together. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm just saying. What? What?
Oh, you're a Ganondorf man. I got you.
That's what gets his goat, man.
But yeah, so I got that, and he's like, "Oh, like I think I have the strategy guide for that," and I'm like, "Really?" Like I don't. In my head, again, being kind of new to like, I didn't have a Nintendo 64, so being new to Zelda really in general, I was like, "Really? I thought this game just came out. Like, how would you have a strategy guide? You have a GameCube." But he had the original N64 version, but it's 1-to-1 the same. And dude, like that was, not only was there incredible pictures and information and everything in there, but it's honestly like the only way I was ever able to finish that game. Like that game was for a kid extremely hard, but yeah, that was a fantastic one.
Not too shabby. I'm gonna say my favorite guide that I've ever used was definitely the Super Metroid guide. I don't know if you guys have ever taken a peek at that one, but I mean, it's a slam dunk answer because it's my favorite game of all time. But it's actually a really good guide. It's broken up into different sections where you can find all the different knickknacks and power-ups and missiles and all that different kind of stuff. But I love the lore bits that it puts out throughout the guide itself. Yeah. And the coolest thing to me is I feel like it's somewhere in the middle. There is a flip out, like there's how when you do a pop-up storybook and there's things you can flip out to reveal stuff underneath, right? So they have a full page spread of Samus in her suit, in her Varia suit. And then it has like all these different data lines going out and going to different areas on the suits to tell you like what parts do what. And then you get to unfold one page and then you see her inside the suit. So you get to see what she looks like while she's in there. It's pretty sick, dude. And they don't do stuff like that anymore at all. But I always remember that because that was pretty sick. I hadn't seen anything like that before.
I bet it was. At that age, you probably hadn't seen anything like that, huh?
Relax.
Hey, dude, you don't gotta get dirty, Garrett. That's disgusting, man.
All right.
This is a family-friendly show, man. Okay. Like, come
on. Also, I think it's interesting from this question that they call it a game guide, and I'm pretty sure CJM they've told us that they're from Australia. I just like in America they're called strategy guides, but I wonder if like
or player's guide.
Yeah, I wonder is that a thing in like in Australia they're called game guides instead. Interesting. CJM also asked, borrowing from Eddie Martin's Mount Rushmore line of questioning, what is your Mount Rushmore of the worst video games you've ever played?
Ooh, I've got a list that's bigger than Mount Rushmore.
Go for it.
Okay.
Right off the top, E.T. Atari's E.T. was so bad that it destroyed Atari. It destroyed video games until the Nintendo Entertainment System came out.
He's not lying.
Saved the day. No, there's a whole documentary about it, dude. They buried it in a desert, man. Like legitimately, they buried it in a dump site, and they said there was like 1 million copies of it. They didn't find 1 million copies. They found a crap ton of copies, but it was like 30,000 kind of a thing, And then some other games as well. But yeah. It destroyed the Atari because they had so much money invested into a crappy game they shoved out there because they wanted the movie tie-in. They were like, the movie's coming out in a few days. We need this game to be ready.
Didn't they try to make them make it in like 3 weeks or something like that?
Yes.
Something crazy?
Yes, exactly. And ridiculousness. And no wonder they got so big for their britches, dude, and it just destroyed the Atari because of it. And there was other issues that they were just hitting all the very similar games and stuff like that. Yeah, so that game sucks. Another one, Superman 64 from the Nintendo 64.
God.
Notoriously bad. And I'm a huge Superman fan, and it came out right after I got out of high school, and I remember being like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. It is not awesome. It is not awesome at all. Like, if you guys have not played this game, it's like unplayable. You're like flying around trying to hit rings that like you can't reach. It just doesn't make any sense. Another one is the Karate Kid from the Nintendo Entertainment System. The Karate Kid, huge couple of movies in the 80s, 1 and 2. When that game came out, I remember being like, oh, awesome. My brother and I played it all night long for a couple of nights, and I felt like I couldn't get those nights back. It is a highly difficult game, and it's crap. It's complete crap. And then one that some people are probably going to hate me on, I'm going to say No Man's Sky. I played it when it first came out.
Back then or now? Because people are saying it's good now. Okay.
Yeah, that's what people are saying, and that's why I expect a little bit of hate. I have not gone back to it. But I played it when it first came out with high expectations because I liked the aesthetics of it, and it sucked really, really bad. I felt it was unplayable.
Interesting.
So that's it for my Mount Rushmore of worst games I've ever played. But yeah, if you've never played E.T., you almost should go play it.
I know.
Just so you can realize how crappy it is.
I really want to give it a shot now.
Adrian, have you played it before? Have you played E.T.?
I played it on an emulator, maybe for like 5 minutes, just so I can say I played like, it's a part of history.
Yeah. That's all you need.
But other than
that's all you need. If you played 5 minutes of it, you've played the whole game. You already kind of know how it all is. You keep falling back in a stupid pit. E.T. sucks. It doesn't even look like E.T. It's a horrible game. It's horrible.
Okay, fair enough. I won't go back. Garrett, you want to go?
Yeah. So I have 4. I kind of stuck to a certain time period because, yeah, as a kid, to me, like, a lot of those games are just like, this is great because it's a video game. I was just happy to play something. So I was like, I'm going to stick to the 2010s for my list here. So 2010 to like now, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So the 4 that I have is my first one's going to be a little random, but I remember like being actually really excited about this because the art style. And then playing it because it ended up being a PlayStation Plus game, like a free game. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. That's awesome. And it ended up being horrible. Drawn to Death by
David Jaffe.
David Jaffe. Yeah.
The guy who couldn't figure out how to play Metroid Dread, that guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Uh-huh.
It literally looks like it's just like some middle schooler, high schooler sketches in like in a notebook. Like everything looks like a notebook paper page. And everything's like pen, hand drawn. It's a really cool art style, but a horrible shooter game. Like horrible game. I played like a couple minutes of the tutorial. I'm like, I'm out. Like I can't. Like this plays so horribly. Fallout 76 was
great pick.
Such a bad one, and it was such a bummer for me because I mean I've mentioned the last couple of weeks that Fallout's such a favorite franchise of mine. And then to jump into that thinking like, okay, what are we going to get? Like, I knew it was going to be multiplayer, but when there was like no one in there, like there's no NPCs, no nothing, it's just empty space. And like, okay, I didn't have friends who were playing it. So what am I doing? And it was horrible. And I haven't gone back to play it today. Apparently they've added a lot to kind of quote unquote fix that, but I don't know. I don't know if I could ever love it again. Days Gone. That one was one when it first came out for the first few months. It was a while. It took them a long time to kind of get patches out there to fix that. It was buggy as all get out. I had a buddy actually just last week say, oh, I've got Days Gone. Checking it out. I'm downloading it. I'm really excited. And I think I'm going to like it.
I heard the story kind of sucked anyway, too.
Yeah. But I was like, good luck, dude. Like, I hated it. And he's like, oh, how far did you get? I'm like, I literally watched the opening cutscene, and in the opening cutscene, it's all rendered in engine, or parts of it were anyways. And I was like, characters were missing. or they were like T-posing and doing weird things like voice thing, like full like vocal performances were like cut out, like audio tracks were cut out. So I literally after the intro cinematic ended, I turned it off and uninstalled it. I didn't even play it. I didn't even I don't think I touched any controls, just purely off the fact I was like, if the intro cinematic is that bad, why do I expect the game is going to be playable at all? So I'm sure it's much better now. It's been years, so I'm sure there's patches that's fixed it, but that tainted
It's been patched, but it's still a crappy game.
Yeah,
it's still not that great.
And my fourth one is Metal Gear Survive.
Ouch. Sorry about that one, dude.
Yeah.
You knew what you were getting into with that, though. Like they put it out there on the table.
Yeah, we knew it wasn't gonna be Metal Gear, but it was one of those things in the back of my head. I was like, just the hopes and dreams. Like maybe they're wrong. Maybe it'll actually be good, or maybe it'll at the very least be fun. And it wasn't any of those things. It wasn't anything. It was
now, are you currently blaspheming the good name of Hideo Kojima?
No, he didn't make that game.
Or
he had nothing to do with that.
He was gone at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, not a Kojima joint. So yeah, there's my Mount Rushmore.
Okay, I can go. So mine consists of, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. I don't blame you if you haven't, because it's awful. It's an N64 game called Nightmare Creatures. It's like it's like a Castlevania kind of ripoff. And I played it on N64, which is like the worst version of the game, of course. And it is terrible. It's really bad voice acting. The objectives are unclear. I don't know. It wants to be like a Castlevania, and that's hard because even Castlevania on 64 sucked. So why do you want to emulate something that was already bad? But yeah, that's beyond me.
I had a girlfriend that's her brother played that, and I remember like just standing over him watching as he played that game, and I was like, games suck now. It was really bad. Because I was used to like Super Nintendo, and so that was like one of the first games I saw on the 64, and I'm like, it looks awful. Looking all great. It looks awful. It's not good. Yeah.
My second one is Rampage for the Game Boy. For the Game Boy. Relax. Not the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Rampage on Game Boy.
On the Game Boy was fantastic.
No way, dude.
Love that game.
Have you played it recently?
Not recently, but I played the crap out of it as a kid.
Yeah, when you were 6, like you were saying, when you didn't know what was bad and that's all you had to play. Rampage on Game Boy sucks. It's the same 6 seconds of a song that loops over and over and over again. It's super hard for no reason. You die almost like every 3 minutes. So while you're trying to get not shot by tanks that have aimbot and nail you every time, and helicopters that you can't dodge because you can't move fast enough, you have to listen to that same loop of a song. I know it by heart because I heard it so much as a kid. Yeah, that game sucks. Regular Rampage, arcade Rampage, awesome. My third one is Detroit Become Human. It is a very good looking game. It is some of the best face models that I had seen up until that point.
Amazing.
The story is real bad. I think that David Cage is not a good writer at all. I don't understand the appeal that people seem to think. Like, I guess he's the only one that I've heard that calls himself like an auteur when it comes to video games. But
when someone's a self-proclaimed art, whatever, I can't even say the word because I'm not it. I'm not it at all. I won't claim it. But if you're self-proclaimed, like obviously there's a problem there.
I thought it was so like it was way too on the nose, and just everything about it was, hey, we're persecuted. We are the androids, and we want rights too. And then you guys won't understand this. But when he did the one with what is that guy's name? The one that breaks off and defects to become the revolutionary. The light skinned guy. I can't remember his actor's name.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jesse something. And when I'm just gonna spoil it because nobody should really experience that. At the end, it's like all the androids that have escaped, and they're all together, and they're in front of a line of cops who are getting ready to shoot them because they're renegades. And they start singing a Negro spiritual like they're slaves. They're equivocating them to African American slaves and making them sing hymns. And I was like, sir, you have no idea what you're talking about. You are way out of your depth. This is not that correlation at all.
The heck?
And that's when I knew, okay, this dude's a hack.
That's funny.
I'm done. I'm out of here.
You turned off the console before that last achievement popped, right? Like that's what I would have been just like, beep. I don't even want people to know that I played the end of this game.
Garrett, I remember it like it was yesterday when they started singing that, because I know the song. So when they started singing that song, as if they were slaves trying to get to their free, like literal allegories for that kind of slave. Mm-hmm. Like, sir, your circuits and zeros and ones.
Yeah. Not the same.
Not the same. Thank you.
Yeah. See, I played through. I'm interested by that take on it, Adrian, because I played through Detroit Become Human and I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't typically like those choose the adventure type of games. Those what's the other ones like Man and Medan that Garrett seems to love so much.
The Quarry just came out that I'm hearing good things about.
That one was perfectly serviceable. It was fine. It came, like you said, with PS Plus, and then I never have to play it again. You know, but I never saw it from that perspective. So, see, that's horrible.
See, it looked good because they showed it at the.
Yeah. This
was back when PlayStation was still doing like. Whatever it was before State of Plays, when they were doing E3 stuff, and they when they showed it, it looked really good. It looked really promising because I remember seeing it. I think it was like at a PSX when they had it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this might actually be good." So I went and bought it. Needless to say, I do not own that game any longer. Yeah, so I'm not a David Cage fan. I'm a Quantic Dream fan because they make the game itself is really well made. It's just the story that's holding it back. And I think they said that he was writing like a Star Wars game or something like that. Right? Was it Quantic Dream doing a Star Wars game?
Yeah, they're doing the Eclipse, Star Wars Eclipse that's coming out in 10 years.
I am terrified.
Yeah.
If he's leading the writing team, I'm terrified. Now, if they want to do the Lucasfilm story group with Quantic Dream's development prowess, that's going to be a winner.
I'm sure. I mean, we all know
he needs to be far away from that script.
We know how tightly Disney like holds on to any and all of their IPs right now. So I'm sure even if he's writing, they're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. Like I would be so very surprised if anything like what happened in Detroit Become Human happens in a Disney game, a Star Wars game. Like that would be shocking because I can't imagine Disney ever allowing that. But
there are very few people, like if I'm Disney, I don't have to check in on Amy Hennig.
Right.
I know what she's doing.
Yeah, she's good.
Just give it to me when you're done. I'll take a look at it then. Even then, I'll probably just send it straight to Cert. But yeah, they need to have a close eye kept on them if they're doing the Star Wars Eclipse game. Okay. And then I'm off track. So my last one, of course, is, and I think we're all in agreement here, is Duke Nukem Forever. Duke Nukem Forever took 12 years to come out and still was absolute hot garbage. I don't know if you guys ever played it.
I never played it. I
got it in a red box.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to see because it's been 12 years and everybody was talking about this game. I got it on Redbox, thank goodness, because I only paid like $3 for that day. Started trying to play it, and it feels like it moves and feels like a bad original Xbox shooter. Like there are really good ones like Ghost Recon and Halo, but this one feels awful. It still looks like an original Xbox game with like that 360 gloss on it. And mind you, this came out on Xbox One. So this was already 2 consoles removed from that original development because it was supposed to come out on Xbox. Never did.
Really?
And then it was supposed to come out on 360. Never did. And then it came out finally on Xbox One.
And they like finally finished it, but instead of upgrading it to like 4K assets, they're just like, good enough.
Yeah. Textures are bad. Models are bad. AI is horrible. There were tons of glitches. I returned it maybe the next day because I was just too over it to go back and put it back in at that time. But yeah.
No way.
That is my Mount Rushmore of terrible games. Please stop making bad games. And please stop putting slave hymnals in your games. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Not a good look. Not a good look at all. Man. Now that ending in Detroit, is that something that happens every time, or is that like a certain, depending on how you play the game?
So
because I know that like there's lots of branching paths.
That's the only one I got.
Okay.
I only did that one ending is the only one I saw.
I got that one too. So it must
did
be
it once.
It must be the same way.
Because I'm surprised. I mean, I know there was some like outrage over the game a little bit, but I'm surprised there wasn't more if that's the main ending. Like if that was like a branch,
I don't think a whole lot of people played it.
Where not everyone got it, then that would be understandable. But if it's like that's the main ending, I'm surprised there wasn't more stink. Like what the heck is happening here?
The people who did get to that did say something about it, but other than that, like I said, I don't think a whole lot of people overall played it.
That's true.
And it went to PS Plus fairly quickly.
Real fast.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. Man. This next question comes from Sir Prince-A-Lot. They ask, what's an older game on a dead console that you've never played that you think you'd enjoy? So what's an old game you missed out on a previous console generation? Going way back, as far back as you need to, JJ. I know that's a long time for you.
Well, for me, it's a long time. But I don't know if you guys ever played any of the TurboGrafx games, but TurboGrafx was a system that came out, and I just missed that system entirely.
Yep.
And they had Slaughterhouse games on there, and they look like a beat 'em up with like a Jason Voorhees type of character with like a hatchet, and it to me it looks like a lot of fun. I think they had like 3 of them. They might have had more. I don't really know, but it looks really, really good. It looks like a lot of fun. So those are games that I've always wanted to play, and in fact, I think Adrian mentioned it before, wanting to get the that TurboGrafx 16 mini console when it came out, just to be able to play some of those games. But I think they only made like 10 of them.
It seems like they got snapped right up.
Right.
The TurboGrafx Mini? Here it is.
Yeah.
It's only $300 on Amazon. One
oh,
left.
gee. Let me go ahead and get a couple of them then at that price.
There's only one in stock, so you guys have to fight for it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can split it, and I'll just send it to you every month. We'll just
go back and forth like that.
Or wait, this isn't the mini. I think this is an actual TurboGrafx. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, there's
no. Oh, if it's a real TurboGrafx, okay, then that makes sense. It's $300, but
right,
because there weren't very many TurboGrafx 16s. Period.
It's hard.
No, and I think those minis were going for like $60.
Yeah, when they first came out. So I'm pretty sure they're double now.
Yeah.
For me, really, it's pretty much any of the Legend of Zelda games, other than Ocarina of Time and what was I just beat one recently, didn't I? Didn't we play one for a book club? I forget now.
You played Cadence of Hyrule.
Cadence of Hyrule.
But that's not technically a Zelda game.
Right. Yeah, other than Ocarina of Time, I've never... I mean, I played through a lot of Breath of the Wild. I didn't finish it. I haven't played through really any or finished any of the Zelda games. So, like, the one that stands out to me is Wind Waker on GameCube. Like, that's one.
What a game!
I would love to play through. And I've been looking at trying to get a copy of it, see what I can do to play it. But yeah, who knows? Maybe
if you promise not to wait. Oh, you have a Wii, don't you?
I do have a Wii. I don't have a controller for it, so I can't use it. But I have a Wii.
I was gonna say, if you promise not to scratch it up, I'll send you mine to play it. But
I mean, I can buy a controller if that's all it takes is for you to send me one. Or I mean, there's other ways I'm sure I can figure out how to play it too.
Feds are watching. They're always watching.
Oh, I just meant maybe going over to a friend's house. That's all.
I mean, that's a long way to drive up here just to play a game. But if you want,
you only have the one friend. You know what I mean?
Worth it. But yeah, that's it for me. Really, any of the Zelda, but especially Wind Waker always looked freaking amazing to me.
Okay. Mine would be, it's a game called 3D Game Heroes. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It's a PS3 era game. So it's kind of an homage to the original Final Fantasies and Dragon Quest, but it's an action game. It's a dungeon crawler, right? But it's done in the style of those old games. But the way it's made up, it's really weird. It's like all the bits of the heroes and of the world are the aesthetic. So you can see like all the bits all over everything that makes up like the tunnels, the caves, the beaches, the forests, all that different kind of stuff. And you lead a party of heroes and you go and you do dungeon crawling and it's your typical like save the princess, save the kingdom type of deal. But the neat thing about it was the aesthetic and the way that you could play it in that format. It was a very low print, so any copies you find these days are going for like $80-$90, unfortunately. And PS3 emulation is not very good as of right now, at least. It's getting better, but it's not good enough to comfortably rely on.
Yeah, not hardly at all.
One day, I'm sure I'll run across some way to play it.
Yeah. All right. This last question comes to us from Skyline_TA. And they write, what famous/infamous game villain would you like to see get their own origin story game? So what's what villain out there would you like to see? For me, I'll go first on this one. I think it'd be pretty cool, especially as long as this villain has been around for, to get some sort of like origin story on Bowser. Kind of what's his deal? Where did he come from? Like whether it's another world like that we've never seen before, like take us back to that world, where it came from, or maybe like introduce us to like what's the beef with Princess Peach? Why is he always kidnapping Princess Peach? Like, what does he see? Like, I don't know, because it's always from Mario's perspective, which is very simple because Mario, like, in general, doesn't talk or communicate. So it's just kind of like, Bowser's here beating stuff up. But it'd be interesting, I think, to see either like the very first time, like, okay, what caused that? And, what's the thought process? What's the reasoning behind this? I know it, and I know every game's kind of different, but yeah, I think it'd be cool to get a Bowser game. Because other than like Smash Brothers, or no, you can't even, not Smash Brothers. I'm trying to, what game was I thinking of? No, I guess, yeah.
For Bowser?
I'm trying to think of times where you can even control Bowser, like Mario Kart and stuff like that. There's
Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey. Do you get to control him in Mario Odyssey?
In the end. When you throw the cap on him.
Oh, yes. No, okay. No, I did. I remember that now. But yeah, but like,
we did it for book club.
Yeah. As a playable character though, overall though, like I think it'd be fun.
Like under his own wit, like not somebody controlling him kind of deal.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, if it actually was,
you technically do play as him in Bowser's Inside Story too. So that's the Mario and Luigi game.
Oh, wait, you have Mario and his sidekick, yeah.
We're not doing this. We've already gotten confirmation on this. I don't know why you keep bringing this back up. But you do play Bowser outside of Mario and Luigi too. So there are sections where you play as Bowser, and there's actually one really cool one that you get to do. I'm not going to ruin it for you. If you ever do play that game, it rules. Yeah. Good grief, a good villain.
Well, I got one if you're still thinking right now, Adrian.
Go for it.
The first one that popped into my head was Ganon from Legend of Zelda. Ooh. I'd like to see a backstory on him. We
kind of did, actually. I don't know if you ever played Skyward Sword.
No.
Okay. No. So in the Zelda timeline, that game is like the first in the series. So,
but you don't play as him, correct?
No, you don't play as him.
Right.
But you do get that you get the origin story of Ganon and of why they keep reincarnating every time as new versions of themselves, him, Link, and Zelda. So you do get a backstory. You just don't necessarily play as him.
This is why Adrian is the most knowledgeable video game enthusiast on Earth, and why he's such a proud member of the Super Gamer Boys before we started to be represented by Pepsi. So
I don't think that was
Sky-
part of the deal.
Skyward Sword is on Switch as well, JJ. So they just came out with the HD version of it, like a year or two ago it came out. So I downloaded. I started playing it a little bit, and it was fun. But I think another game came out. Like it was. I remember that was like a pack summer. Like every month there's a new game on Switch, and I was just like, boom, 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 playing something else. So I forget what came out after that, but
you'll never be able to retire because you will always just spend all of your money on every game that's available.
Worth it.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah, you got an addiction problem though, Garrett.
That's fine. Social Security. That's what it's for, right?
Social services are going to get called. Your one of your kids looks super hungry. Be like, I feel like you just like. I mean, you're buying too many video games, bud.
I know they get fed first. They get fed first. Food first. Trust me, because I get hungry too. So food first.
I got a good one.
Okay.
I would love to see a Team Rocket game from Pokemon, where you play as Giovanni and you get to see how he ends up getting to the top ranks of Team Rocket and establishing that. I think that would be a pretty sick game.
Dude, that would be sick.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't fly because people would be like, oh, this is cruelty to Pokemon. You can't really do this. But at the same time, everybody would want to play that game. I can't find a person that would like, if they did a Team Rocket spin-off game, I think it would do really well. Even if they did like I know it's not a game, but I would love to see like a TV show or a short animated series. I think that would be really cool.
Anything about like on that would be awesome. Team Rocket, because I mean, we never really see like the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, in the show, do we? Like, I didn't watch.
So they try to they kind of touch on it here and there throughout the series, and they've done side projects where they do focus on Giovanni a little bit, but he's already the one we know where he's big bad Team Rocket leader. We don't ever get to see him come up to that. So I'm sure he had to, double cross a few people here, have some people beat up there, strong arm some people here and there. So I would love to see. I'm sure he was in competition with other people for the top spot. How did this happen?
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a dark, gritty Pokemon game.
The underbelly of Pokemon.
Alrighty, well, that's it for Mailbag this week. Thank you all so much for writing in those questions. Remember, you can send your questions in wherever you can get a hold of us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're on a Discord over at supergamerboys.com/Discord, you can join our group over there and chat with us throughout the week. Leave your questions. But now, it's time for the Nerdy Nudes.
It's now time for the Nerdy Nudes.
Boy, I missed that.
Fantastic. This first news story comes from IGN India, apparently. I didn't realize I got it from IGN India instead of US.
News is news.
News is news. Popular Leaker says EA will reveal Skate 4 in July 2022. Written by Rupesh Nair. Following months of silence from developers Electronic Arts, it seems like the popular video game company will finally reveal something about the new, long-awaited title in the Skate franchise. It's been over a decade since EA last released a new title for the series, as Skate 3 launched in 2010. The company behind some of the biggest sports video games franchises announced the development of another installment in the legendary skating franchise during its 2020 EA Play event. To develop this game, Electronic Arts has formed an entirely new studio in Full Circle, which is headquartered in Vancouver, and according to industry insider Tom Henderson, the developers might be showcasing the title very soon. In a recent report, Henderson stated that EA will reveal the upcoming Skate title in July, with the developers currently deep into playtesting the game. While Full Circle has yet to reveal anything about the title, fans have received from behind-the-scenes look at the development of Skate 4, and moreover, earlier this year, some pre-alpha footage of the title leaked online as well. According to Henderson, it's very likely that developers will showcase gameplay footage during its reveal for Skate 4. Plus, it's been stated that select journalists and content creators will have hands-on experience with the title as well. So, I'm going to be straight up here. I have never played a skate game, but back in the day, I was a huge fan of Tony Hawk. So I've played all the Tony Hawk games but Skate was one I always missed out on. Is Skate is Skate on the same level as Tony Hawk? Because to me, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, at least like 1, 2, 3, Underground 1, like all those were like top tier, best of the best. Is Skate anywhere near that?
That is a tough question to answer because Skate and Tony Hawk are different beasts. Tony Hawk is more of your arcadey, you can do a 7-time backflip off of a 100-foot drop and still be okay. Go right into you could be horizontal, then all of a sudden go into a vertical grind off of something. So it has its own charms in that way. Skate was more of the technical, like you have to know which way to move your feet on the board to do certain tricks.
So it's
that's why you had to use the sticks to do it.
Okay, interesting. See, I never realized that. I just assumed it was the same game, just made by someone else. It's like, it's a similar, same but different kind of thing. But
right,
that's
interesting. I mean, and Skate also had its fantastical stuff, but it was definitely more of, if you are into skateboarding a little bit, then it's gonna enhance your experience. But it doesn't lock out anybody who's never played or never skated or anything like that, or never been into skating. Mm-hmm. So they're definitely for two different audiences. I love both of them. I think Skate is phenomenal. I think Tony Hawk is phenomenal. So the fact that this is I don't know if it's the same exact team, but it's the same heads coming back for Skate 4. I have all trust in them to bring out another banger product.
Dang. So there's been 3 other Skates so far. Have they all been hits, or have there been any misses with those?
I think the consensus is that Skate 2 was the weakest one.
Okay.
But that's like weakest as in they're all good. Like this is the weakest of the 3 if you had to pick one. Mm-hmm. Skate 3 is kind of where they perfected it. I that's what I hear. Yeah. I like Skate 2 the best, but I don't know. Everybody has a favorite.
Yeah.
See, and I have no experience with any of those. Of course, I know Tony Hawk. So as soon as I saw this one, I realized that I need to kind of bow out because I don't know anything about Skate. But I was a huge fan of Tony Hawk when it first came out. So I was like, it'd probably be great, right? So would people who like Tony Hawk and that type of skating game, could they also enjoy Skate?
Yeah,
for what
you have to give it an earnest try. Because you're going to go into it and you're going to expect to be able to play it like Tony Hawk, and you can't do that. But when you get into your groove in Skate, that's the one thing I will say too, is pulling off combos in Skate feels a lot better. It feels a lot more rewarding than pulling off combos in Tony Hawk, because when you do it in Skate, because they try to go with the more realistic side of it. So when you have to really account for your player's position and your skater's position and weight and foot placement and all that. So when you really do pull off a sick line, you really feel like you actually did it. Like you actually, put the moves in and stuff like that. So it's much more rewarding in that versus there's no way, you just press a couple buttons and your character's doing a 6 900s and in special mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
I had a really cool skate move when I was a kid, and it would be me laying on top of the skateboard on my belly, and then like using my hands to ride on the ground. That was my move.
See, that's an easy that's an easy 25,000 point trick right there.
Yeah, no, I would
your special.
do that. Yes, that would be my special. And like occasionally I would do a 360 when my fat ass would roll off of the board onto the ground. I mean, that would happen as well. 360.
I'm sorry. I was actually visualizing that in my head. It just made me laugh so hard. Did I imagine you going down a hill, hitting like a little crack in the pavement, and your whole body's boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. You have no idea how accurate you are to reality and how that has really genuinely happened to me. So
I would love to see a Tony Hawk game where we can add your own character, like create your own from the ground up character. I would absolutely put you in there, JJ, and just let you rip up the course, man.
I thought you were going to say, I wish we could have a Super Gamer Boys Jackass where we just do crazy stunts and hurt ourselves, and it'd be hilarious.
We're too old for that.
It'd be hilarious to watch JJ just go down a hill on a skateboard in real life and see what happens.
Well, if we ever start
the
getting
whole
enough
movie
on
would be you bastards like just wanting me to do all of the
It's just me and Adrian like tricking you into doing things. It's like, oh, check that out.
Hi, my name's JJ, and I guess for the 15th time, welcome to Jackass.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
No,
I mean, if we ever get to that level on Patreon, I'm down to, you know.
You're down to watch me suffer.
By the
do
way,
it for our what?
I was just gonna say, by the way, on our Patreon, we're like just a few dollars away from the $100. So we're this close to that next show.
That's the first step. That's all you got to get us on the first step, and then we're gonna just start climbing, baby.
Let's do it.
And once we get that good mark, JJ Target Practice is a go.
It's
JJ
down.
Target Practice.
And like we'll do butt funnels with Tabasco. I mean, there's lots of.
I mean, you're already way ahead of me now. I was not thinking about that. I was just like Nerf guns and we paint a target on your belly. But
that was like 3 movies down, JJ. You've jumped the shark a little bit.
Watch the Patreon. Climb up tonight, boys. You watch.
Oh man. All right. Well, yeah, I'm excited for this. Again, not even having any experience with Skate 4, just my love for Tony Hawk and just the lack of skating games in general. Like we got those remasters of Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Is that last year?
Excellent.
They were fantastic, but like that was the first skating game, and other than Skatebirds, in like years. Like we haven't gotten anything, which is like a little indie game. So another like AAA skating franchise, a solid one that's, like you said, had 3 other solid entries. I'm excited to see what they got. I just hope they don't jump the gun, try to show too much too soon and be like, oh, it's still not coming for another 5 years or something.
They need to be really clear before they show the footage that, hey, this is alpha gameplay. It is not polished at all.
Yeah.
It is not tested at all. It's not anything, but we wanted to show you where we're at. Just so you have an idea of where we're going. They need to say that before they put the footage out, because if you don't, people will not get that idea and they'll go, oh God, look at Skate 4. It's shaping up to be an embarrassment. It's going to be horrible. These are people who have no idea how game development works, of course, mind you. But you really need to push that not narrative, but give that context before you show it, and I hope they do that.
Yeah, 100%. Alrighty, this next news story comes from Eurogamer. Vicky Blake writes, From Software's next game is in the final stages of development. From Software's Elden Ring, only released in February, but already its next game, still a mystery for now, is in the final stages of development. As spotted by Gamatsu back in 2018, studio boss Miyazaki, we'll go with his last name, said that 3.5 of the games the team was currently working on were unannounced. I don't know how he quantified 3.5 games, but apparently half of a game was unannounced still. And 4Gamer reached out to ask Miyazaki on the progress. Since that time, we've had Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, a PSVR game, Deracine, Elden Ring, and Elden Ring, of course. That just leaves one mysterious game yet to be announced, which may or may not be that heavily rumored Armored Core installment. At the time, a player reported that they had received a consumer survey directly from the developer, which offered plot details, 8 screenshots, and even 2 videos about the unannounced sequel, which does indeed sound like a game in the final stages of development. Whatever it is, though, Miyazaki says development is currently in the final stages, already looking towards the medium to long term where he'd like to work on a more abstract fantasy than anything we've done in the past, especially as not all the ideas and images from existing game development made it to the final versions. So yeah, essentially it sounds like Miyazaki's already like his mind is off on whatever the next game is going to be, a fantasy game. It sounds like he wants to do. But this unannounced game, when the rumors are pointing at a new Armored Core, let me tell you, I got stoked. That was one of those PS1 games. I know they had I think there's 5 total, plus spin-offs, but like the 5 main ones, they were on PS1, PS2, even PS3. I only ever played the first one on PS1, and that's like a gem. It is like such a fantastic game. So if we get a new Armored Core game after how many years? It's probably been at least like 10 years since the last one. I'd be stoked out of my mind.
What do I keep conflating that with? Armored Core is a mech game, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Maybe I keep thinking Mech Warrior?
Maybe. Armored Core was like it's like a dark, gritty, mech game. Like you get to pick everything out about your head, your arms, what guns you want. Do you want tank treads? Do you want wheels? Do you want legs? Like you literally could customize everything about your robot. And then there's the story missions you went through. There wasn't really much of a story in the first game, but yeah, you from head to toe, you can totally customize your mech, change the colors. That was my favorite thing. Go in there and do the painter and just like customize every inch of the colors and everything. So much fun, so much customizability for like a PS1 game. It always blew my mind. But so if we could get that on freaking PS5, Xbox Series X, holy smokes, it'd be so beautiful. It'd be so gorgeous. It'd be so much fun. But I don't know. I just was curious though. What is there anything that you guys would hope this is based off of From Software's other IPs, or do you think we see any? Yeah, what do you think I was thinking about this at all?
I just want another hard pivot from Souls.
Yeah,
I would love to see them be able to get out of their Souls. What's the word? I guess circle or constraint for a little while, and have them to put that energy
because that's been
towards
a lot
another
of their
kind of
games. That's been their games for a long time now, right? Like I can't think of anything else they've done that isn't that, basically.
They've done other stuff before, but for the last good while now, it's mostly been centered around Souls titles. So I'd love to see them be able to stretch their legs and do something different. So if it is Armored Core, I think that'd be interesting to see them put their energy towards that.
Yeah, the last Armored Core game that came out was a spin-off called Armored Core Verdict Day. Came out in 2013. They did have on the 3DS in 2015 Monster Hunter Diary Poka Poka Iru Village DX.
I've never heard of that, whatever that is.
It was released in Japan. I don't know if it came out anywhere else, but it was originally published for the PlayStation Portable and then came to the DS. What in the world? Anyways, what I was getting at with bringing that up though is like, so they have done a couple projects that aren't Soulsborne games, but basically since 2014 it's been Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 2 DLC, Bloodborne. Dark Souls 3, Deracine, Sekiro, Elden Ring. Yeah. So it's been the same games essentially. So it'd be cool kind of get a little mix up in there for sure. Now, JJ, have you ever tried a From Software game? I always forget. I don't know. Like,
I played
Bloodborne,
Bloodborne, and way too difficult for me.
Yeah.
And then I played a little bit of Demon Souls, and pretty much the same. Way too difficult for me. So the moment that I heard you talking about them, I started to check out because they're not built for a gamer like myself. I'm kind of like a dad gamer who's like, I don't want anything too tough. I just want like a fun story. I'm not a bro gamer. I'm not going to get in there and play COD, as the kids call it. And I'm not going to play any of those From Software games because they're just way too freaking hard. So are you guys big fans of that Demon Souls and the Bloodborne games? Have you played them and defeated them?
I've never beat a From Software game. I played Bloodborne and like the world and the lore and the aesthetic of it, but again, it was really hard for me. The only game that From Soft has made that recently that I've actually enjoyed was Elden Ring. Gorgeous game, actually fun to play, is actually approachable. Like I actually made it. I played it for a good 20-30 hours or so before I ended up dipping out just because other games have come out since then. But typically, no, that's not my joint either. That's why I was scared of Elden Ring for a while, at first because of that. But I'm glad I gave it a shot because it is very different, at least in approachability.
Now,
but
I have to agree with you. As far as the aesthetic for Bloodborne, I love the world.
The
I
eldritch
love the
horror,
look.
like, yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
So good.
Love that stuff. Yeah.
Have you beat any of them,
Adrian, I assume that you've probably beaten the game 100 times.
Absolutely not. I only have so much, how should I say, sanity for these kinds of games. You know, Elden Ring was one of the few that I've actually sat down and gave a, you know, real college try to. And I haven't given up on it. I plan to go back to it at some point, but just a lot of stuff started coming out and I got distracted. So I'm fearing that I'm probably going to have to start over because that game does require a lot of muscle memory.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it comes to the combat. But at some point, I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to finish it. I loved everything, every second I played of it. Even the parts where the window was looking like a real good target for my controller. Even then, I was like, it's still a good game. It's just really hard. So
it's awesome. All right. Well, this last news story comes to us from Variety, written by Mark Melkin. Chris Pratt says his Super Mario Brothers voice is unlike anything you've ever heard in the Mario world.
It's me. It's gonna be Chris Pratt.
Wait a minute,
Like
guys.
he's gonna be like,
It's me, Mario.
right? He's gonna sound like Star-Lord.
It's
like,
me,
Staria. Dang it.
Owen.
Guy from
jeez.
Jurassic World, you know.
According to Chris Pratt, his performance as Mario in the upcoming feature adaptation of the Super Mario Brothers video game will be unlike anything you've ever heard. Variety got the chance to catch up with Pratt at the Wednesday night premiere of his new Amazon Prime Video series, The Terminal List, to talk about finding his voice for the film, which co-stars Charlie Day as Luigi. There's been... this movie is... I'm afraid this movie is just going to be a huge train wreck. It's going to be crazy. There's been much internet discussion over Pratt's casting in the animated film as the Italian plumber, despite his non-Italian background, because you can't play a character if you're not that person. Right?
It's not even about him not being Italian. It's about him not fitting the role. He does not.
Right.
You have a guy already. You've had a guy for for 20 something years,
30 years, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, but did Bob Hoskins really fit the role when the movie was out in like '93?
No.
No, he did not. John Leguizamo, did he really fit the role of Luigi?
No, he didn't. But
no.
You know what happened with that? It turned out to be a real bad movie. I don't know where you were going with that.
Yeah,
you
I don't know.
You
You gotta just prove my point. Never mind.
With critics expressing concern that his accent could potentially be offensive. Apparently, that's a worry that he might have an offensive Italian accent. Which I loved how when were talking about this on Twitter, all the Italians came out on Twitter and said, "Hey, I'm Italian, and we've never been offended by Mario's voice. Like, why would we start being offended now? Why would we start being offended now? Like, who cares? Like, whatever." However, the film's co-producer, Illumination Entertainment's Chris Meledandri, defended Pratt's casting and vowed that his voice work is phenomenal. In a recent interview with 2Fab, Pratt echoed Melandrin's sentiment, telling Variety that Mario's voice has been updated. There's not much to the story. I just thought this was the most bizarre news from the last week, that Chris Pratt seems to think whatever voice he's come up with is unlike anything you've ever heard in the entire world. It's his groundbreaking new voice vocal technology. I don't know. I just thought this is so bizarre. So there you go. Don't expect Italian plumber. Expect nothing.
Chris Pratt.
Expect
Chris Pratt.
It's going to be Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy, or the Lego Movie, or Jurassic World, or it's going to be Chris
They're
Pratt.
All the same performance.
Yeah. Parks and Rec.
Right, let's not totally crap on Chris Pratt. He's great as Star.
He is. He's great as Star-Lord. He's great in Parks and Rec. Like he's good in movies. But
those are the same. But these things are not mutually exclusive. These are both great performances, but they are also the same performance. That's why they're both great.
True.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're aware.
Man. All right. So yeah, I don't have any more to say about that. I don't know if you guys do. I just wanted to bring it up because I just thought it was the most bonkers thing. So look forward to that. I do have this question for you guys. How soon do you think we actually, because it's supposed to come out this year, got delayed to next year, correct? How soon do we get a trailer? Is it not until next year, or do you think we get some sort of teaser like the end of this year?
There's no way we don't get something this year, especially if they pushed it back. If they push it back and we don't get something this year, then I would be. I mean, I'm already concerned, but like my concern level goes up to an 11 at that point. Mm-hmm. That tells me you don't have anything ready to show. Like how bad did you have to scrap it?
Are we aware of the storyline to the movie yet?
Not at all. I mean, they haven't told us anything. Okay. We haven't seen a piece of concept art at all. Nothing.
All we know is the casting, which is like absolutely bonkers, crazy casting. So.
What are your guys' hopes for this movie? I mean, are you hoping that it's going to be entertaining? Or are you just like, we're not looking forward to it? Okay, so I've been looking forward to it because I'm a fan of Mario. I like the characters. I'd like to see it done well, but I haven't had a lot of high hopes.
Please, God, please don't make them come to the real world. Please don't do that. Please.
That's like the old trope that gets done over and over again.
I don't know if I could take it if they do it again. That's like the number one thing they love to do is bring characters to the real world. They even did it with Sonic. Thankfully, it worked out, which is very rare.
The Chip and Dale movie.
That same thing.
Yeah,
I'm good. We figured it out. Nobody else needs to do it now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Keep them in the Mushroom Kingdom. There's plenty of stuff that you can do there to explore. There's a lot of different areas and zones.
No.
We can do something there.
They're definitely bringing them to the real world, but it's going to be New Donk City. Because you know how in New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey, like all the humans they're like real people. Like I guarantee you, they go. They do New Donk City.
Slide.
They do New Donk City, but instead of doing animated New Donk City, they actually just use a real world.
That might slide because you do have continuity for it, but that'd be like the only place you could do it.
Right.
Everything else goes back to stylized.
Yeah, it'd be okay if it's New Donk City. If they bring them to New York City, then there's a problem.
Then we got an issue.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that's it for the news this week. Now it is time for our Patreon ad. This is a part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1, and you can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show. If you're missing out on the live recording, which we do Monday nights on Twitch, and you don't want to wait until Wednesday, like everyone else, you can support us right after the show. After I'm done editing, I pop it up there. You can listen to it right away on your graveyard shift, on your drive home from work, whatever you're doing, and enjoy it with no ads either. So this part you totally miss out on. So granted, you might miss out on some good stuff once in a while. $5 a month. We got a tier for you where you can get the show notes early and not ad free. The show notes don't have ads in them, I promise you. You can get them early though, so you know what we're going to talk about, both the questions for the show and the news stories. If you have your own answers, your own questions, your own comments, concerns, whatever about any of those topics, leave it right on the doc. That way we can share it on the show. If you have thoughts about Chris Pratt's voice in Mario, if you have thoughts about your favorite game guide ever from back in the day, leave it on the doc. So that's what perk you get, $5 level. $10, you're a sponsor. You get a shout out on the show, just like we do each and every episode at the top. And of course, the big dog tier, we got our Patreon producers where you can support us at $15 a month. And you can essentially be our big bad boss. Tell us what to do. So if you have some cool ideas, some cool pitches for shows, hit us up, support us at that tier, and you know what? We'll give it a shot. We'll give it the old college try there and see what we can do with it. So if you love what we do, please support us. We're this close to getting enough support to start that next show. We would love to do it. So please go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there. Now, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Prime Gaming through Twitch. You can link your Amazon account and your Twitch account, get Prime Gaming, and you get one free sub every month. We would really appreciate it if that free sub went towards us. You have to remember to do it each month. It doesn't do it automatically, but head over to our channel, twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. Click the subscribe button at the bottom. There should be a little checkbox that says use Prime Gaming sub. Totally free for you, and we give $5. Helps us tremendously. You get access to our emotes all across Twitch, which we have some fun ones with JJ's ghost face, Adrian's hype face, and my just twisted pain face, because that's just apparently what I look like all the time, just like utterly in pain. So yeah, check all those cool ways to support us. Now let's get back to the show. Alrighty, it's now time for What You Playing. So, JJ, since you've been out a couple weeks, I'm sure you've been playing all the video games since you've just been calling in sick, you got COVID, you're not doing anything else.
Yeah, you've had all that time.
Yep, so what you been playing?
And as a matter of fact, I got no excuses, boys, no excuses. I've been playing Mass Effect for the first time in my life.
What?
And yes, and here's the deal. Why was I sleeping on this
What?
game?
You've been playing Mass Effect? And didn't say
Mass
anything?
Effect. Nope. And that's why I was bringing out the big guns.
Ooh-wee. Wow.
Yeah. Tell you what, guys.
Wow.
That's the last game I expected you to say right now.
This is what video games are made of. Like, seriously, I'm playing the Legendary Edition, and gotta tell you, I don't know why I have not played this game until now. It's a really, really phenomenal.
Dude, you just made my day right now. You know that?
Awesome. Yeah, and it's awesome. I'm really glad that I've given this game a chance. I wanted to play it for a long time, and then I saw that it was on Game Pass, and I'm like, hey.
Is it really? Huh.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass
if you
right
have
now.
The Game Pass Ultimate, then you get access to the EA Play. Yep.
I bought it. I had it pre-ordered. I knew that one was gonna. I mean, it's Mass Effect. You can't really mess it up. So
yeah, it's great. It's a great game. If you guys haven't had an opportunity to play that game, if you're sleeping on it like I was, get after it because it's great. There's so many games like that I'm like, oh, I've never played any of the Gears of War games, and I like things like that.
So
where I'm
good.
Right. So I'm like, I gotta play that, and Mass Effect has been on my list for a while, and I just finally it caught my eye. I had some free time, and I just got after it. So it's amazing, and hopefully I'll be telling you soon about how I beat all of them. And how
no, you won't be telling us soon, but I would love to hear your exploits.
No, I will not. They're
pretty long. They're pretty beefy. So
yeah.
That is such good news, dude.
That's
cannot
fantastic.
wait. Just keep us updated as you go, man.
I will.
To experience that game for the first time again.
It's been remarkable. Like, it's actually a beautiful game, and so man, I love space. I love anything with like the alien stuff. I love the other like cultures you end up seeing when you're playing games like that, and like, oh man, I just love everything about that kind of stuff. So that it's kind of like the perfect game for me.
That's awesome. Freaking awesome.
That was awesome.
All right, Adrian, what have you been playing?
You and I share a game again, but we actually finished it this week, which is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
Yes.
And I gotta say that game is, I don't know how you feel. You feeling 10ish? I'm feeling kind of 10ish.
It's up
at
there
least
for
a
sure.
hard 9. It's a hard 9.
It's up there for sure. It's like a 9.5, close inching in on 10. It's a really brilliant game. Like, yeah, spot on. Graphics wise, gameplay wise, story wise, just everything about
Music.
On the online play, how well it works. Like, so just
seamless.
like, everything is just perfect. Like, I honestly can't really think of any flaws other than just me being a bad gamer. Like it was just, you know, and even then it wasn't overly difficult. Like that was an issue I remember with Streets of Rage. Sorry to take over. This is you talking about what you're playing.
No, we're sharing it.
Streets of Rage 4 that we did for our book club. Boy, I got my butt kicked a lot of times, and that was on easy. But those
bosses, yeah.
Granted, on this we were playing with 6 of us or 5 of us when we just played on Saturday. But it does scale up with difficulty the more people you have. So I anticipated like, oh man, I'm just going to die nonstop. I only lost 1 life the entire playthrough. Like I only died once. So it's like difficulty, like everything, at least for me as a bad gamer, like this was a perfect game. I loved it. Couch co-op, wasn't too much kicking my butt. Oh, no. So much fun.
This is the closest that an online game has felt like couch co-op for me in a long time. I think maybe ever.
Yeah.
I can't think of very many that felt, and I think it, like you were saying, it's because the online is so seamless, and we were all in a party together, and it was just everything about this game exceeded my expectations. I cannot talk about how good this game is enough. It is definitely in the running for Game of the Year for me, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. I mean, we might find out something else is coming out tomorrow. There is a direct tomorrow, so who knows what's going to pop off, but as of right now, this game is definitely in the top 3 running for me for Game of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's up there.
Yeah. Outside of that, I've actually gone back and started playing a little bit of Mario Golf World Tour, which is the Mario Golf that came out for 3DS.
Okay.
So confession time. I went back and tried to play Super Rush, and I don't know what it is about that game, but it doesn't have.
That's a Switch one, correct?
Yeah, it for some reason, I don't know what it is that it's missing, but it doesn't have a lot of oomph, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't have a lot of substance. It literally just feels like the golf gameplay put on courses that are just generic, and they don't really have a lot of thought put into them. Like they were just designs that they found and went, oh, we can use that. There's not a lot of that charm or that extra mile put into it. Like in World Tour, you got courses that are based on different Mario worlds and areas. Like there's an underwater course, there's a Bowser's Castle course, there's a Peach's Castle course that you play through.
That's really cool.
There's power-ups you can use that, I mean, granted they brought that back here, but it just felt like there was a lot more thought put into it versus this feels like a game. Super Rush feels like a golf game with a Mario skin. I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
it's not a bad game.
I get it. Yeah.
Right. It's not a bad game. It doesn't feel like a Mario golf game. Whereas Mario and World Tour is considered like one of the weaker ones in the series, but I think it has way more going for it than Super Rush does. I think that's what it's called. Super Rush, Star Rush.
I don't remember.
One of those two. But yeah, I've been going back to it and I've been playing it recently, just, having a little tea time when I'm available, because that's one of the good things about 3DS. You flip it open, flip it closed, you're right back where you were.
Yeah.
And man, I'm having a ball with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I enjoyed Super Rush because that's kind of like, I never really played a Mario Golf game before that. I think that was my first one, was Super Rush.
Even the first one? Oh, you didn't have a 64 though.
I didn't have an N64, yeah. So, but I have 3DS now, so I might need to go pick up World Tour and give that a shot, because that'd be sick.
But the best one is Toadstool Tour. That was the GameCube one. That one is excellent.
I'll have to go over to a friend's house and play that one too.
I mean, again, if you want to come up here,
to Adrian's house, man. Like, we've established you have one friend. You do a podcast with 2 people, you have one friend.
So does that mean one of you guys isn't my friend?
I'm not the one who made that statement.
I'm not good at math, JJ. So I mean,
are you saying you're not my friend?
You're awful quiet. You're awful quiet.
Garrett, for some reason I'm having a hard time hearing you, buddy.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with the
But yeah,
audio.
that's what I've been playing. So
Yeah. All right. Well, man, I get, something else that JJ forgot to mention he's been playing is playing with my heart, just really
yeah,
Oh.
he's playing
right now.
games.
Really hurting. Really sad right
Oh,
now. A
man,
little depressed, but
Oh, Garrett,
it's all
you know
right.
we're
you've been
You cut him
you know
deep.
we're friends.
You've been gone for 2 weeks. You come back and that's how you treat me. You got your new friend Scott now. You don't need me because you got Scott. You got Scott.
Got your wrestler retweets. Now you don't know anybody
Oh.
anymore.
Yeah.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Oh, John
you know
Cena
what?
retweeted me. Ugh,
Whoa.
whatever,
Yeah, when's the
Oh,
last time
hey.
he wrestled?
But 20 years the guy's been on top of WWE. Thanks, Mr. Cena, for all of that, amazingness.
Yeah, and what did he do with it? He made the Marine. Whoa.
Oh, come on. The Marines suck really bad, but
Yeah.
he's done some good stuff since.
Oh, absolutely.
He has done some good.
I just like to make sure that he never forgets where he came from.
Oh, he'll never forget the Marine. Nobody will let him forget the Marine.
For me, I played Shredder's Revenge like we just talked about. The only other game I've been playing is Crisis Core, which I don't want to talk too much about because we're talking about it hopefully Wednesday when we record on the next book club. But that game, it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. And I was just telling Adrian like a little where I am in the story. And I was like, oh yeah, I just met this character that like I wasn't expecting to meet. And I just got super stoked. So there's just been cool like story stuff happening at game. More and more I'm figuring out the gameplay. That's been my biggest issue is figuring out how to play the game. I also telling Adrian like, oh man, I got stuck in this boss forever. When I finally realized like, oh, there's a whole portion of the game that like it's not optional. They make it seem like it's kind of optional because it's literally in a menu.
It's just emails.
Yeah, it's like in the menu and then at the bottom of the menu. It's not at the top. It's like all the way down at the bottom to do missions, it's like side missions. Like that's not just a side mission. That's like if you don't do those, if you don't grind them out, like you can't do things.
You
in
won't
the main
level up.
story.
You're gonna get your butt kicked.
Yeah. So
And I was telling you earlier. I said there's a reason Final Fantasy is in that name.
Yeah.
You gotta do your diligence.
yeah, I tried to this golden path and I'm like, I'm just gonna blast through this game and get her done. And I'm like, nope, I get a boss that I was stuck on for like 3 days. And I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta go grind out some missions. But yeah, overall enjoying it. And I'm excited to talk more about it on book club, which you guys can get later this week. If you support us on Patreon, of course. It's patreon.com/supergamerboys. Don't forget that.
Do it.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all I got for the show for this week. So thank you all so much for listening to the podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you who watch here on twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys, who watch later on youtube.com/supergamerboys, or listen on podcast services all around the globe. We appreciate you all. We love you all. Thank you for downloading. Remember, if you can, rate and review us wherever you're able to on YouTube. If you give us that thumbs up on this video, subscribe to our channel, all that helps us get seen by the YouTube algorithm gods. So that way they spread the good news of Super Gamer Boys to the rest of the population. You can support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys if you really love what we do. We are literally this close to funding our next show. So if you could help us out, kick us over that ledge, we'd appreciate it. You get episodes early and ad-free and other cool perks, so go check it out, patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can also support us over at sgbstore.com by buying some merch. We got t-shirts, we got pullover sweatshirts, we got stickers, we got coffee mugs, whatever you're looking for. We probably don't have it, but we have the things we do have are really cool, so go check it out.
I was gonna say, but our stuff's still good.
What's that?
I said, but our stuff's still good.
Oh, it's great. I was going to say, if you're looking for it, we have it, but that's probably not true. Because if you've ever seen Amazon, there's lots of things on there that we definitely do not sell. But yeah, go check it out. We got some fun merch and it helps support the show. Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use this wonderful music in the background, in your ear holes right now, behind our voices. Fantastic. We appreciate them, and you should go listen to them. Spotify and Apple Music. Links to Spotify are in the show description below. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, at supergamerboys over on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Morlang on Twitter and Instagram. Adrian, where can they find you at?
They can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
And JJ, where can they find you at?
You can always find me over at JJ Purdom on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find me on Twitter at Suplex City Pod. Oh, and that's right, at the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast, the one and only pro wrestling podcast that comes out each and every week, presented to you by the Super Gamer Boys.
And Pepsi Cola.
Yeah.
No, not Pepsi Cola. Let's go.
Exactly. All right, for Adrian Homeboy Holmes and for Garrett, don't blame me, for Monkeypox Morlang and myself, JJ Purdom, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.
I'm gonna get something for you in that Pepsi bit of yours. You're gonna regret that you ever started this war, good sir.
Tasty.